Nigerian Labour Congress insists on Wednesday strike mobilizes workers. Adamawa State government relaxes 24-hour curfew over insecurity threats by hoodlums. ECOWAS gives Niger junta 1-week ultimatum to reinstate ousted President Bazoum or face military action. On the foreign scene, arrested Senegalese opposition leader Ousmane Sonko begins hunger strike. Hello and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for joining. And now the details. The Nigerian Labour Congress has commenced mass mobilization ahead of its planned nationwide strike scheduled to begin Wednesday to protest the hardship occasioned by the fuel subsidy removal. The NLC urged Nigerians to join them at the Unity Fountain, Abuja on Wednesday, August 2. The union noted that there is nowhere in the world where government leaves its citizens totally to the market forces without some measure of control and protection, calling on the federal government to immediately deal decisively with the criminal content of subsidy instead of exposing ordinary citizens to avoidable pain and hardship. Speaking further on the recent monetary policies rolled out by the President Bola Tinubu-led government, the NLC said that it is concerned that no government acting reasonably leaves its national currency to forces of the market. The union reiterated the need for the government to immediately reverse all anti-poor policies and release the withheld salaries of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, among others. Adamawa State government has relaxed a 24-hour curfew imposed across the 21 local government areas following the activities of hoodlums on Sunday that broke into government warehouses, cutting away food and non-food items. This was contained in a statement made available to journalists by the governor's chief press secretary, Humwashi Wonosiko, on Monday. The statement explained that the relaxation of the curfew follows a meeting in the early hours of Monday morning between security chiefs and government officials led by the Deputy Governor, Caleb Tawa Farauta. Now, according to the statement, the Deputy Governor announced that the curfew has been reviewed from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and will be reviewed hourly, while authorities will maintain an increased security presence to ensure compliance to government's directive and that criminals do not disrupt the peace of the state. While urging parents to send their children and wards to school, as well as the reopening of business premises, she warned hoodlums and public to abide by the curfew and remain cautious and cooperative if approached and questioned by security personnel. Farauta noted that the government will not fold its arms and allow miscreants disrupt the peace of the state. Heads of West African countries have resolved not to recognize any leader other than Nigerian President Mohamed Bazoum, who is being held hostage by members of his presidential guard who seized power last week. The leaders reached the resolution on Sunday after an extraordinary summit of the Authority of Heads of State and Governments of Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. The ECOWAS leaders also insisted that if constitutional government was not restored in Niger in the next 1 week, they would use all means necessary to effect change to status quo, including force. Kende Amodu reports.
9 ECOWAS leaders and representatives of presidents of Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Cape Verde met on Sunday in Abuja to take a tough stance. The stance is, of course, informed by self-preservation, as clearly captured by the chairman of the Authority of Heads of State and Government.
The danger to us right now is the fact that one of us, His Excellency Mohamed Bazoum, is imposed by his own army. The presidential guard not a calamity. It's an asset on everyone, of course.
ECOWAS is giving the coup plotters in Niger 7 days to restore constitutional order, after which it will impose sanctions if they fail to comply.
In the event the authorities' demands are not met within 1 week, take all measures necessary to restore constitutional order in the Republic of Niger. Such measures may include the use of force. To this effect, the chiefs of defense staff of ECOWAS are to meet immediately.
The West African body is also imposing economic sanctions, which include freezing of Nigerian accounts in West African countries, freezing of assets of the major players in the coup, and suspension of aid and economic partnerships with Niger.
In the meantime, the following measures are to be applied with immediate effect. 1. Closure of land and air borders between ECOWAS countries and Niger. 2. Institution of ECOWAS no-fly zone on all commercial flights to and from Niger. Suspension of all commercial and financial transactions between ECOWAS member states and Niger. Freeze all service transactions, including energy transactions.
In the interim, West African leaders are rejecting any resignation from the detained president and are demanding that the welfare of President Bazoum and his family must remain a top priority. The West African body is sounding tough, but the success of its demands will depend on the interplay of international politics going on in Niger. From the ECOWAS Extraordinary Summit in Abuja, Kende Amodu, Trust TV News.
President Bola Tinubu will address Nigerians on Monday at 7 p.m. The President's Special Advisor on Strategic Communication and Special Duties, Dele Alake, announced this in a statement released on Monday morning. The statement urged all television and radio stations and other electronic media outlets to hook up to the network services of the Nigerian Television Authority and Radio Nigeria for the broadcast. The broadcast may not be unconnected to the removal of subsidy on premium motor spirit, known better as petrol, and its accompanying effect on the cost of living of Nigerians. The Nigeria Labour Congress last week said that Nigerians lost their peace of mind following the subsidy is gone comment made by Tinubu during his May 29, 2023 inauguration. Indigents of Iwo in Osun State say that land grabbers have invaded their farmlands, prevented them from farming, and victimized them. During a peaceful protest in Iwo, the farmers said that some of them lost their lives because of the victimization by the land grabbers. They called on Osun State government to intervene in the matter. Hamid Oyegbade reports.
Residents say land grabbing is a serious issue that affects their environment, economy, social welfare, and human rights. The Alakoko family of Agidi Fesu in Iwo Land, Osun State, are grappling with this challenge. The family members alleged that the traditional ruler Onigege of Igege, Oba Kazim Adio, was selling their ancestral farmland to real estate developers. The traditional ruler sold from the land on the 3rd of July and issued receipts to the buyers. We told him to bring evidence to support his claim of ownership, but he could not provide any. The court restrained Kazim Adio and Agidi family from entering the farmland. Yet, Kazim is still selling the land. We could not go to the farm. They have destroyed our crops. The traditional ruler was not in his palace when Trust TV visited the town. In a telephone conversation, the traditional ruler said the land belongs to him. They sold my land and I dragged them to the court in Ogbagba. After that, they came with 40 motorcycles with petrol to burn down my palace. They went to the police area commander and Oluwo's palace to seek permission. You can find out. Another farmer in the town said Alakoko family of Agidi Fesu are the true owner of the land. When I was young, the farmers that we know in that farm include Baba Rahimi and Baba Eleshin. I worked for them at Foro Farm along Ogbagba. At the other side are Baba Sifawu and the man from Emulu compound. A timely intervention of the state government and security agencies is necessary to address the issue before it degenerates further. Amid Ojegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
The Rivers State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC has arrested 12 suspects for their involvement in vandalism, oil theft and illegal dealings in petroleum products. According to the command, the arrest is part of efforts geared toward curtailing oil theft, pipeline vandalism and other crimes in the state. The report.
Addressing newsmen during the parading of suspects at command headquarters in the state, the commandant, Basil Igubeze, said the fight against oil bunkering activities in Rivers State is not negotiable. Hence, economic saboteurs are either to desist from such heinous acts or face the full wrath of the law. Commandant Basil said he is determined to fight the menace of illegal oil bunkering activities, which over time has led to environmental degradation, pollution of land, aquatic life, and health hazards.
Prosecution of the Corps' mandate of combating pipeline vandalism and all the other aspects that threaten the critical national assets of the country, the Corps in Rivers State Command has made the following progress. 12 suspects have been arrested from different locations across the state and are hereby paraded for their involvement in pipeline vandalism, illegal dealing in petroleum products, and allied matters. The Command's anti-vandal unit has impounded so far 5 vehicles, a bus with 36,950 liters of AGO and 51,225 liters of crude oil. This is in affirmation of the fact that there has been a change of pattern in the state and it is no longer business as usual.
Commandant NSCDC, Rivers State, Commandant Basil further revealed that based on sustained intelligence, the anti-vandal squad made an arrest at Okei Ungo Pala Road, Eche Azix, a grey Toyota Camry laden with 2,000 liters of AGO in sacks, while the suspect took to their heels upon sighting the anti-vandal squad. He warned the anti-vandal marine personnel to desist from any action that could smear the image of NSCDC, noting that the CG is also ready to motivate and reward diligent and dedicated officers.
Henceforth, every person or any criminal involved in anything that threatens the economic reality of the country by way of vandalism of any critical national asset will be made to bear the brunt of the law. Any personnel caught in aiding and abetting oil thieves or illegality in the waters would be dealt with according to extant regulations and law. The command will continue to synergize with relevant state agencies to combat oil theft in Rivers State particularly. Investigations are ongoing and into the cases of the arrests made, and you will be appropriately briefed or informed on the status of the cases in due course. All vandals or thieves are either to stop the activities or relocate as a devil's alternative to other areas where their activities can be welcomed.
Rivers State Commandant NSCDC, the command herdsmen, further solicited for more credible intelligence from the public that will lead to arrest of unrepentant vandals and oil thieves in the state.
The Lagos State Police Command said it had arrested no fewer than 88 suspected criminals 24 hours after the launch of Operation Flush. The news agency of Nigeria reported on Sunday that the State Commissioner of Police, Ido Owohunwa, disclosed this while speaking with journalists in Ikeja. Owohunwa on Thursday launched Operation Flush to identify trouble spots, especially along construction areas, and flush out criminals, particularly traffic robbers and other miscreants. The CP said that during the raid, some hard drugs and arms were recovered, stressing that the suspects will be paraded before journalists this week. He said one of the locations of the security concerns raised included the Orile Igamu area, stressing that the current tension in the area was linked to the bridge. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we take a look at the idea behind naming towns. Details and more after the break.
Let's take you on a ride through a series of colors, events, concerts, and lots more. Are you planning an event? EventScope has you covered. Make Trust TV your #1 choice to cover your event. Call 080-3591-0553. EventScope, making your event classic. Follow us on all of our social media platforms at Trust TV News for latest updates on EventScope.
Welcome back. This is the news update on Trust TV. Here's a look at the top stories. Nigerian Labour Congress insists on Wednesday strike, mobilizes workers. Adamawa State government relaxes 24-hour curfew over insecurity threat by hoodlums. Now, in other news, the Kano State government on Sunday disclosed that it has activated contact tracing teams to track patients affected by the diphtheria outbreak in the state, as more than 100 patients are on admission to hospital admission, while over 2,000 others have been treated and discharged. The state epidemiologist, Dr. Abdullahi Kauramata, who made the disclosure while updating journalists on the outbreak in the state, disclosed that the teams have been deployed to the nooks and crannies of the state, especially in high-burdened local government areas. According to Dr. Kauramata, diphtheria cases have been reported in 31 out of the 44 local government areas of the state. Furthermore, he said that government has constituted 2 centers for the treatment of patients infected with diphtheria. The resurgence of diphtheria, according to him, may be linked to the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, which resulted in a lockdown and disruption of routine immunization, leaving many children unimmunized, on the other hand, due to the conduct of some parents or caregivers who are hesitant to take their wards for immunization. Now, over time, certain names have been known to grace more than one street in several states across the country. States like Katsina, Kano, Kaduna, Sokoto, and places like Zaria, Jere, Jos, Birnin-Gwari, and many more have streets that bear similar names like Tudunwada and Sabongari. The uniqueness in this phenomenon is what prompted Bitrus Kuruzi, who found 2 communities with the same name in Maiduguri. Take a look.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State, is the largest city in northeastern Nigeria. The metropolis has 15 wards made up of different communities. Interestingly, some of these communities bear similar names like Tudunwada and Sabongari, which are also in some parts of Nigeria like Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, Zaria, Jos, and Birnin Gwari. However, Tudunwada in Maiduguri has already been renamed to Abubakar Umar Garbai layout by the state government. Before now, the first settlers among them was an Islamic scholar and a businessman who named the community Tudunwada.
Ce Hausawa ne suke zaune a nan, mu muka zo muka same su, wani malami Allah ji kanshi Malam Muhammadu mai rasuwa.
The Hausawas were the first people that resided here. The first man, late Malam Muhammadu, that stayed here is from Kano. When he came here, he liked the name Tudunwada because there is also a place called Tudunwada in Kano. So he decided to name this place Tudunwada.
Tudunwada is very perfect than Abubakar Umar Garbai or Abubakar Umar Garbai.
Another residential area, Sabongari, meaning new area, was given the name because the capital was experiencing an influx of people and needed expansion. The first settlers were Kanuri, who formerly called it Unguru Kareye.
Sai aka sa Sabongari, kamar ma'ana su Hausari, ka san da Hausa aka sa suna Hausari, amma bare-bari ne.
The majority of people that first settled here were the Hausawas. As of then, houses were not up to 10. The Kanuri people called this place Unguru Kareye, meaning bush area. It was later that the place started developing. People were buying lands and building houses. It was even farming and business that attracted people to Sabongari.
Sabongari ma'ana kamar sabon anguwa. Da aka zo aka share, da aka buɗe. Kaga yanzu anguwa akwai Sabongari.
Sabongari means new area. It became a new resettlement area because it's very big. So it was divided area by area. We have Sabongari, we have Sabon Line, Zango, Gwange Zango, and others. Many tribes live here, like Kanuri, Barberi, Margi, Yoruba too. Names of towns or communities define cultural harmonization that brings together different ethnic groups through civilization. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Now, on the foreign scene, Senegalese opposition politician Ousmane Sonko said Sunday that he has started a hunger strike in custody after being arrested this week. As his lawyers condemned his arrest, Senegal's public prosecutor on Saturday announced 7 new charges against the politician, a vocal critic of President Macky Sall, who has faced a string of legal woes he claims are aimed at keeping him out of politics. He is scheduled to be interrogated by a judge on Monday. In a press conference on Sunday in the capital Dakar, Sonko's lawyer said the authorities had not respected his rights. One of them, the French national Juan Branco, appeared at the press conference despite Senegalese prosecutors filing an international arrest warrant against him on July 14. On June 22nd, Branco said that he had filed criminal complaint against Sall in France for crimes against humanity and had requested a probe by the International Criminal Court in The Hague. His initiatives also named Interior Minister Antoine Felix Abdoulaye Dome and Gendarmerie Chief General Moussa Fall among more than 100 others accused. The move sparked Senegal's and with Foreign Minister Azizzata Tall Sall lashing it as childish and puerile and falling far short of the benchmark needed for legal scrutiny. His sentencing to 2 years in prison on June 1 sparked clashes that left at least 16 dead. The sentence makes him ineligible to contest next year's presidential election. And in sports news, Tanzania Premier League club Tabora United have announced the signing of Super Eagles goalkeeper John Noble. Noble penned a one-year contract with the newly promoted side, formerly known as Kitayose. The 30-year-old joins Tabora United from Nigeria Professional Football League champions Enyimba. The goalie was part of Super Eagles' squad to the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon. He was in the books of Togolese club ASC Kara for 8 years before moving to Enyimba in 2020. Tabora FC is from Dar es Salaam, Ilala district. The 2023-2024 Tanzania Premier League season will kick off next month. Super Eagles defender Chidozie Awaziem is set to join Ligue 1 club Nantes on a permanent transfer. Awaziem will pen a 4-year contract with the former Ligue 1 champions, according to the Hit Wet Radio. And that's it for the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.